Good morning. Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa, we understand, leading the final cabinet meeting this morning on the 2025 budget, following more discussions with political leaders over the weekend. Parties that are part of the National Coalition rejected parts of the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana's spreadsheet, including the proposed 2 percentage point VAT hike in VAT last month. This meant that the budget speech that was due to go ahead in the middle of February was postponed. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda joins us now live from Parliament to give us more on this. Ziyanda, good morning to you. We all know how important this is. What's happening there now?
Well, Stephen, I can tell you that as the president oversees that final cabinet before we expect Enoch Godongwana to take to the podium, lots of questions about the politicking behind closed doors, Stephen. You'll recall that there was a vehement, pushback from parties like the Democratic Alliance against a 2 percentage point VAT hike. They've insisted that they will accept absolutely no hike, and this is, of course, against the backdrop of the prospective 0.5 percentage point to 0.75 percentage point VAT hike. And what does this mean? Well, we've been told, the political rumor mill, so to speak, has been talking about the ANC flirting with parties like the EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe Party if then the issue of pushing through this budget doesn't take place. I can tell you, Stephen, for certain that most parties, if not all of them on the Government of National Unity, want to see Godongwana taking to the podium and have those processes unfold because of the embarrassment of the 19th of February. Let's bring in then, on that note, MK Party Chief Whip, the official opposition. Let's start off by confirming, has anyone from the ANC or the ANC caucus reached out to you, Dumiseni Ntuli, putting in a call to you to say, listen, we'd be open to, we'd like you guys to vote with us? And what would have been the nature of that discussion?
Let's start by greeting you, Mapoloba, and the rest of your viewership. Just understand how protocol works. We here in Parliament, we are the deployees of MK Party. We push the party line. So the party will tell us what to do. Any discussions that would happen with the MK would happen at a party level, will not happen at a caucus level. So yeah, if any discussions would be at the party level, the right people to ask would be like the SG or people up there in the high command of the organization.
Which also means that it's not off the table that the MK Party could vote for a 0.5 percentage point VAT hike, for an example.
The MK Party has got a very clear position. We've got a party line on this. And for us, the issue of entertaining even 0.01% is off the table. We are not going to entertain this uncreative, visionless increase of VAT because we think there are just too many solutions on the table. This cannot even be a consideration. We've been saying that SARS is ready to go and rake out 800 billion. What's a problem with this National Treasury instead of just assisting SARS? And there are many other things. For instance, we've been saying that just clamp down on this transfer pricing shenanigans, these illicit outflows. Already have your money there. We've been saying that, another low-hanging fruit is this issue of a corporate tax. Just 1 percentage point, everybody should be happy. Wealth tax, a little bit, and everybody is happy. So there's absolutely no case at all for any increase whatsoever. In fact, we could even be discussing a decrease in the VAT. That's how far, this is our posture as MK Party.
I mean, of course, you are not part of the Government of National Unity, and you're not then represented in that cabinet meeting that's currently taking place. What are the scenarios that you've plotted out as the MK Party if, for instance, then they push ahead in that meeting to go with some kind of a VAT hike? Who have you been speaking to as the opposition to try and see then if you can thwart this attempt?
No, look, yeah, it's correct. We're not part of the coalition. There's no such a thing as a Government of National Unity in this country. We have a coalition of the ANC, DA, and others. So whatever the coalition decides, we're a principled organization. We're not a jukebox. We're not going to listen to anything that is going to compromise our people purely because we're trying to get blue lights. We're not in that game. We're here to represent the people of South Africa genuinely. That's what we're here to do. So whatever they decide, I think what would have happened in that cabinet meeting of theirs, they'll probably make some deal just to enable the budget speech to be delivered today. the big issue will be on the debate of that passing of that budget. This is where, at that point, we will share even in greater detail in terms of what needs to happen to clearly demonstrate that as MK Party we are ready with a solution. And that solution, more over and above what I've already said, there's more other jewels that we have that we want to put on the table at the right time. But for now, we are just appealing for common sense. But if common sense does not work, we'll then practically show them what needs to be done. We are ready to show them at the right forum, and the right forum will be when we discuss at SCOF and also at the National Assembly when we do the acceptance or rejection of the budget.
And of course, you've threatened to take to the streets. What does that even mean, and what would that achieve? You already marched to the National Treasury on Monday, but if you take to the streets, then would you be in conversation with unions? Because that kind of demonstration, if it's to have an impact, would need, unions to be on board to get the workers to join you with their feet on the ground.
In South Africa, the MK Party has got 2.3 million people behind it. There's no union of that kind of number. So we are depending on the main on the people of South Africa. We will call upon the 2.3 million people that voted for the MK Party. We'll be saying to them, we've exhausted all the processes that are allowed for in Parliament and everywhere else. Now it's time to go to the picket lines. We'll call on the people. We will bring the economy into a standstill to make the point. Because it's no, what's the point of having an economy that continues to rob the poor? So what kind of economy is this? So if it must stop, it's actually going to stop for the rich. So we have no problem stopping the economy for the rich because the poor are actually not beneficiaries of this dispensation. So the poor have got absolutely nothing to lose. We'll get into the streets, we'll make sure that nothing moves in order to make this point.
All right, Mzwanele Manyi, the chief whip of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party. As you'd know, they're the official opposition here in Parliament. Stephen, I'll tell you what then, everybody will have their eyes set on Enoch Godongwana come 2 p.m. And as I said, there is some semblance of agreement that this budget speech must go ahead. However, when it comes to this issue of the proposed VAT hike, everyone will be listening closely because it would also mean then, Stephen, that some parties would have had to have climbed down from their initial positions, i.e. the DA, which has said they will accept absolutely no VAT hike. What would that mean? Who's the president been speaking to? How did those discussions over the weekend take place across the 10 political parties that form part of this government of national unity? The very first budget speech, the very first test of this government of national unity will be on full display come 2 p.m. Stephen.
Well, thank you very much.